to isolating the variables. In other words, we want to what? That's right, get the variable by itself. Okay, so number one, they're going to tell us which variable here. We're not going to be too mean and have you guys figure it out in formulas. We used to. But here, we're going to tell you what variable to solve for. Okay? So for number one, we're going to solve for y. What I like to do is go back in the problem and circle where the y is. Kind of just helps me where I should isolate. Okay. Well, this one's pretty easy because the only thing I have to do here to get y by itself is to get rid of the 7x, right? So I'm going to subtract 7x from both sides. Now, I'm going to put this minus 7x. I'm going to offset it here um, so that I don't mistakenly subtract them because they're unlike terms, right? So I'm going to offset this, put it over here, minus 7x, so I don't accidentally take 8 minus 7. I can't do that, right? Because they're unlike terms. Okay? These cancel out. I get my y by itself. And because I'm a mathematician, I a little bit anal about having the order correct here. I'm going to put my algebraic term first, minus 7x, and then I've got my plus 8. Now, if you put 8 minus 7x, I'm certainly not going to take off for it. But if you really want to make your Algebra 2 teacher happy, you can do it this way. And I'm done. Y is by itself. I isolated for y. Number two, I think this is an interest formula. I need more coffee to figure it out. So I need to solve for t. Now there's my t. Okay. This one's actually fairly easy too because I only have the one term with the t, right? And sorry, and this term is all multiplication. So I can easily just divide, to undo multiplication, divide out what I don't want. Well, I want the t, but I don't want the p and the r. So I'm going to divide both sides by the p and the r. Okay, so I have this, I think it's I over PR, and these cancel out, so I get my T. T is by itself, so I'm done. Right? Um, are we messed up in the seating chart? Didn't I make a seating chart? Uh, that's okay. Just sit anywhere, Ian, for now, where there's an empty desk, and we'll figure it out when I'm done lecturing. Sorry about that. All right, number three. I know. Well, like I said, let me finish a lecture and we'll work it out. Okay. Can you sit there? Sorry. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to solve for number three. I'm going to solve for x. So here's my x here. All right. There's my equal sign. So here on this one, I've got two terms, so I'm going to get rid of this 9y, okay, and deal with the 11x. So I'm going to add 9y to both sides. And I'm going to put it off to the side here because they're not like terms. and I get 11x equals, I'm going to put my algebraic term first, 9y minus 4. Now I still have to get rid of that 11, right? The 11 coefficient. So I'm going to divide both sides by the 11. Now we got to be careful here because I have two terms. I got to make sure I divide both terms by that 11. So if you're going to, you could either put an 11, divide by 11 for each term, or do like I did and put a line through the whole, under the whole thing and divide by 11. Okay, my 11s cancel here. I get my x by itself, and then I get everything else over here. 9y minus 4 divided by 11. Okay. I don't really care what this messy side looks like. At this point, I don't even care if it's simplified or not. I just want to make sure that that x is by itself. That's what the concept here is. All right, number 4. Number 4, we have to solve for y. So I'm going to go back here and circle the y's. Now I want you guys to help me out on this one. This one's a little tricky because I have a y in two terms, right? I need some suggestions how to get rid of this y. Yes, ma'am. Do what? We could divide it by the x. Remember, when we divide by x, we have to do it to every term, right? So I'm going to divide by x. By the way, this is probably what I would have done first thing when I was learning. So I'm going to divide it by x. That's a very good educated guess here. So my x's are going to cancel here. I have my y. But this, nothing cancels. So I have y over x equals 10 over x. It actually kind of made it a little bit of a mess, didn't it? It. I don't think it's going to work at this point. But it was a really good try. Okay? That's what we ask you in these classes, in math classes. Is that you guys try something. That was an excellent try. In fact, dividing is a really, it seems to be the way to go. We just didn't divide right. Any other suggestions? Anybody else?
Uh, add the Y.
Want to try adding?
Yeah.
Okay. So add y to both sides.
Oh,
So these cancel. I get my x, y equals, now these are not like terms, so I get y plus 10. Now what?
now what?
Yeah, we got to get y by itself. We still have two y's.
I don't know.
Huh?
I don't know.
You don't know? Did it really help us out that much?
Oh, no problem.
No? Try something else. These are all good tries, though. And they're not wrong. It just didn't work for us.
Uh,
Anybody? What? what do you want to multiply by? You want to multiply every term by x? Okay. Remember, we have to do every term so we don't change the value. So x times xy, x squared y, minus x times y, xy equals 10x. Again, we can do that. It's right. There's nothing wrong with it, but is it helping us out? Not quite. We still got y in two terms. Yep, Aiden.
I was gonna say divide by y, but now I think about it much more.
You are on the right track.
I'm on the right track.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we definitely have to divide by y. That's the way we have to go. Okay. But what we're going to do here is we're going to divide y. We're just going to make this look different. We're going to do a little trick here. We're going to divide both these terms by y. Okay, so I'm going to divide both these terms by y. And I'm going to use the distributive property, but I'm going to use that property backwards. Because distributive property, we multiply, right? So I'm going to use it the other way. I'm going to undistribute. Not a mathematical term, but it fits here. So I'm going to divide out the y, okay? So here's my parentheses, because that's what we use in distributive property, right? So I'm going to take my xy and divide out a y. What do I left with? X. And y divided by y is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. Okay. Now here's what I did. Why I used the distributive property backwards, or, even though it's not a mathematical term, undistribute. I just, by putting these in parentheses, I made this a quantity. Now this is one number because of PEMDAS, right? PEMDAS is forcing this to say, hey, do parentheses first. That's a number. So I have a number times a number now. It's just one number. I can get rid of one of these numbers because it's multiplication now. There is no subtraction because PEMDAS is forcing this to make it one number. So that's what I'm going to do. I have one number times another number. I'm going to divide it by this number, x minus 7. 1, I'm sorry. So don't forget I have to do it to this side, x minus 1. And look what happens. This number cancels out. So I get y equals 10 divided by x minus 1. And I got my y isolated.
So I was thinking the right way.
Yes, your brain was thinking the right way. There you go.
When you did the first step by dividing by both y's, how come you didn't do 10 divided by 1 on the other side?
Because I did not change the value of either one of these terms. Okay, if I were to change the value, I would have had to include the 10. Like, remember when we multiplied each term by x? I would have to do that to every term because that changes the value. Here, I did not change the value of these two terms. Remember, I can always get back to this exact number, right? If I use a distributive property, I can get back to my xy minus y. Okay? So I'm not changing the values. It's that little math trick that I happen to know. And now I just showed you. You guys know the trick.
Forgot it.
Don't forget it because you're going to need it for the quiz. Okay? Don't forget it. Now, let's look at number 5. Here's for A. So I'm going to circle my A's. Now, just like the previous problem, kind of like the previous problem, right? I have A, or the variable I'm solving for, in 2 different terms. So chances are I'm going to have to apply what? What we just learned. Undistributed, right? Undistributed. However, I got a problem here first. These were on the same side of the equal sign. So I need to put these on the same side of the equal sign. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 5A first. Now be careful here because 5A and AB are not like terms. So I'm going to put it off here to the side. Minus 5A. Okay, now I'm going to put my AB first, only to make it look pretty, okay? You could put the negative 5A first and then the AB, but that's fine. I'm going to put my AB first and put my minus 5A here. Equals, these cancel, and I have 4. Okay, now we're back to the scenario where I have A in both terms on the same side of the equal sign, right? I don't want to change the value of it, so I'm going to undistribute. I'm going to take out an A. So AB divided by A leaves me with, good. 5A divided by A leaves me 5. And then divide by B minus 5. Good. So I'm going to divide by the quantity B minus 5. Okay. Yep, these now cancel out, and I get A equals 4 divided by B minus 5.
How would that work though? Because the A with the B is just the A's first.
I'm sorry?
The A's first with the B. Like, wouldn't you have to distribute the B because it's the variable last?
I'm not sure what you're asking me.
So like with A and B, why would you undistribute it? Because the B's where the multiplication starts.
You mean take out the B?
Yeah.
Oh, if you look at the undistributed step here, if you look at that step right there, you can always check to make sure you're doing it right. If you actually use the distributor property, make sure you get back what you started with.
So it doesn't really matter if A and the B aren't really in the same.
Oh, you mean the order?
Yeah.
Oh, no, if I put that negative 5, A, you're saying if it was like this, undistribute that, take out the A, we would just have negative 5 plus B. It's the same thing. Okay. Remember, addition, we can switch order. This is always, you can always change this to addition by adding a negative 5. they're the same thing. You could do that. Okay. Yeah, if you happen to put that negative 5a first, then the AB, you still undistribute and get the same answer. Okay. Good question. All right, number 6. Solve for B. Here's my B. It's kind of locked in that numerator, isn't it? It's locked in the numerator, and secondly, I don't even like working with fractions. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that 5. I'm going to multiply both sides by 5 so that the 5's cancel, and I'm left with B plus 3A equals 20. And now it's not too bad of a problem. Just subtract 3A, subtract 3A. Again, not like terms. So I have B. And again, if you want to put 20 first, just like over here, you can switch the order. Minus 3A. I'm okay with that for now, for now anyway. And then, are you taking notes?
I'm watching.
You don't take notes?
No.
No? Did you ever take notes?
No.
No?
How's that work?
Is that working out for you?
Never failed me. So
Really? Yeah. I'm one of those people. I have to write down everything.
I mean, I passed every year with a flying D.
Did
but
with a flying D? You don't really have to tell
So
us
write
what.
some things down.
Why get a better score, right?
D gets degrees. What do you mean?
I think the place is C's get degrees.
Yeah, yeah.
Just start.
The state laws and federal laws now are C's to get degrees because they're changing it. I know, but you might be escape out of it because of the whole COVID thing. Took a year back,
Well, I'm sure either way. 'Cause I'm a D student.
but you can be an A student. You know that, right? All right. The volume of a given pyramid is found by using the formula volume equals 1/3 times the length times the width times the height. Okay. First thing we have to do, it says rewrite the formula by isolating the height. So I have to isolate the height. I have to get h by itself, right? Okay, I don't like fractions. This is all multiplication, so this is all one term. Makes life easier. I'm going to get rid of the 3 by multiplying it by 3, but I have to do it to both sides, right? So I have 3v equals, these cancel. I got 1 times length times width times height. It's all multiplication, so I can divide what I don't want in there. I don't want the length times the width, but I have to do it to both sides. Okay, so I end up with 3v over length times width equals, these cancel, my height. So I did A. B says find the height of the pyramid with volume 240. So here's my V, length of 10. So here's my length 10. And then my width of 9. So wherever I see a V, an L, or a W, I'm going to plug in these numbers. So I have 3 times V divided by L times W. That's going to equal my height. So V is 240. L is 10. And then W is 9. So that's going to equal 3 times 240, 720 over 90. Oh, that makes it easy. 720 divided by 90, 8. Now, in Algebra 2, remember I told you we need to start using labels. So we have centimeters, and because it's volume, it's going to be cubed, right? Volume's cubed. So there's my answer. Hmm? Are you good? Good.
We allowed to use notes on a test.
Notes on a who does notes on a test?
We could use notes on a test freshman year.
You know what? You're probably